Good afternoon, everyone. Have you seen the floods in Chad? And if you know there's a massive aquifer right under that same area, the Great Reset, notice the front cover here on Time magazine, the Sahel. Could be a new food growing area the globalists are planning. Above ground and below ground water resources. Notice how many aquifers there are across North Africa with the increasing rainfall. Same Time magazine article mentions severe drought wiping out U.S. crops, planetary alignments of 2023 and 2024 that we haven't seen since 79 AD. Crypto, huge surge in demand, 2 to 3x above expectations in PayPal. And on the United States Mint, how do they have 1 ounce of silver at $67? And with the U.S. election happening in the blink of an eye, I think you'd agree, whatever the outcome, things are going to be rough for a while. So if you're worried about your finances taking a hit, you should look at protecting your savings, especially your hard-earned retirement fund. The team at Noble Gold knows how to do this, and they've done it for thousands of other people before you. With every qualifying IRA or 401k rollover, Noble Gold is gifting a 10th ounce solid gold American Eagle proof coin. Grab the phone and give Noble Gold a call now. 877-646-5347, and you'll also find the link in the description box below the video. I personally don't feel like everything happening on the planet right now is by a coincidence and just organically evolving the way it is that we're seeing things. Whatever continent, whatever country you're in. Chaos of the mind, if you will. It's a reset, planned right here, Time magazine cover, the Great Reset. World Economic Forum talked about this along with the International Monetary Fund. But let's dissect this a little bit here. This front cover, wide it out, because I've been talking so long about the African Sahel being a new area on the planet that we as a global civilization could grow an enormous amount of crops. There's 13.8 million square kilometers of agricultural land there, even though it may appear as desert right now. Even across all of North America, there's only 9.8. So significantly large land mass to cultivate, and you would get dual crops, incredible amounts of sunlight. But look at the imagery inside this. So it's very specific, the Sahel in North Africa. To the left, you have a guy who's going to put plants there. And that's what it's all about, is bringing in the agriculture to this area. We have the scientist right there in the white lab coat. Which species, which plant species would give the highest yield in this area. We have the financing person right there. And we also have the engineers, roads, canals, ports, electrification. So all the elements are right inside there. And what I like is if you glimpse just to the left of the square there, you're looking at it, almost looks like a hollow earth, like an entire civilization below that. But maybe I'm seeing things, not sure. And the article itself, The Great Reset in Time magazine, broken down into several different articles. I linked the full main page of article choices in the description box below. I highly encourage you to check out everything that's available to show you the future in this Great Reset. In the section termed How We Fix the Global Economy, it's in 2023 looking back to our period now from 2020 up to 2023. Now, what I find really interesting, because my whole focus on the grand solar minimum, crop losses, they even have a full paragraph devoted to this. In the summer of 2022, a severe drought wiped out crops. About a sixth of the world's grain supply disappeared. Now, if it was like that, as you know already, prices are rising. More and more difficulty growing as the seasons now shrink. And they need a coordinated response. Well, the coordinated response would obviously be, let's roll everything into Africa, a more stable climate there, but you are going to need water resources. And this area that I'm referring to is termed the Sahel. Now we can go to North Africa where the old Roman grain growing areas were, but I'm going to pull you right back to the central area in the Sahel. Now, some massive floods have been going on in Chad as of late, and also if you're in Eritrea and Ethiopia, you're going to see the Great Renaissance Dam, biggest dam in Africa to provide hydroelectric power in one of the driest areas. Now, how do they know it would flood and fill? That's a whole different video, which I've done a couple of before to try to explain that. We have the Nubian Sandstone Aquifer. Now, if you look there at Libya, Egypt, Sudan, and Chad, this is several thousand cubic kilometers. Cubic kilometer, not square kilometer. Cubic kilometers of water underneath, what you consider just sand above. Now, if you have the increasing above ground precipitation because of the shifting West African monsoon on its 4,000-year pattern, we start to see signs everywhere. Look at the amount of flooding since 2017 across Africa. It is massive. And here we are, Chad. Now, I've seen a lot of regional floods in regional areas that it does flood every single year in certain areas. But to see something like this in the capital should send a huge flag up there going, whoa, this is so far above what the normal is that there's definitely a shift in precipitation patterns going on. So where these areas were built in the capitals, in so many other towns, they were at the edges of what were the former mega lakes of North Africa. Dried out, now they're refilling. These massive floods are just pooling in areas, if you will. But if we look at the other massive aquifers across North Africa, Central Africa, and the Sahel, you could connect all those with canals and pipes if you had the engineering and the funds to do such a thing. You're going to need a stable coin to be able to trade between the nations, cryptocurrency obviously, but the above ground rainfall with all of this water available, especially in the Nubian aquifer up in the areas of northern Libya, Algeria, this can be transformed into the largest breadbasket on the planet, hands down. This exceeds anything that could be produced in North America, plus it would be a double crop. So think about that just for a moment. This continent has been kept on the shelf for 120 years? Somebody knew the cycles and were putting this aside, undeveloped for such a long time for right now. This image right here in the Time magazine article, also spooky, scary, and a little bit disturbing in my opinion, shows the gravitation toward where this new utopia of socialist world is taking us. But you need to produce food. You can't have a society, whatever form it takes, communist, socialist, democratic, republic, whatever it is, you need food. So in order to produce food in a grand solar minimum, when so many areas in the northern parts of our planet are going into a very reduced amount of crop yield production, northern China, Canada, United States, parts of northern Europe, and if we go to the southern hemisphere, we're seeing Australia, parts of South Africa, all reducing in their crop yields. But don't worry, all the government agencies will say it's a bumper year this year, but then they'll downgrade in June of next year. They're market stabilizers. So as we come into the low part of this very first magnetic canceling of our sun, wave 1 out of 2, we're going to get an enormous amount of volcanic and tectonic activity right around 2024. And it's very interesting that the Time magazine article references crop losses in 2022, and then we march to 2023. And this solar diagram here for 2024 in April, this alignment has not been seen since 79 AD. That planetary square out there with the gas giants is going to create its own slight magnetic field. And as we swing around the sun in October, we're going to be a sandwich. Everything will be reset during this time anyway. So the question is, who knew the cycles? Economy reset, civilization reset, and how is it that the U.S. Mint now, just a regular 1 ounce round that you would find uncirculated, you can buy them in tubes of 20. They're not proof coins. They're just the regular 1 ounce of silver that you would buy. You're going to pay a little over spot for this because it's a premium coin. United States Mint is putting $67 per ounce on that. And again, currently unavailable. So if you want to buy any type of quantity, a monster box, maybe 500 ounces, unavailable, single ounces, unavailable. But why are they putting $67 per ounce? Is this the strike price they're expecting in 2021? So they're putting here now $67 when they finally get it back in and start minting January 1. You know, they've run out of silver already this year. The demand has been so exceptionally high. People understand sound money. And we're marching into this whole reset thing on every single magazine cover and every single economic powerhouse across the planet talking about it. And then here we are. PayPal had started offering cryptocurrency just a couple of weeks ago, and their demand is 2 to 3 times higher than they anticipated. So even if we use the very conservative 10% of all PayPal customers, which is 360 million at the current time, that's 36 million people that are going to put some money into cryptocurrency. And then we have the institutional investors that are allowed to come into that on, was that January 1st, 2021? They can allot 2 to 5% of all the holdings in there, and all these banks are getting into it. These custodial wallets that your bank's going to hold for you. Just like PayPal, you can't take the coins out, but they're a custodian of your funds. Well, your local bank, wherever you do banking, will be the same coming in 2021. 2 to 3 times the expectations. And you know, when I read this last line here, PayPal is now pushing to support an overall global pivot to digital currency. They're only one of thousands. Look at RippleNet. That's bank to bank, government to government, instant liquidity on the blockchain as well using Ripple. So the shift is in play right now. The shift of our agriculture to a new continent. The shift of our economy into a new digital form. You can see the already forecast hugely rising prices in silver. That's more than double than today's price. And the amount of trouble that would be brought on by all these volcanic eruptions growing food prior to 2024. This once in a 2,000 year planetary alignment. Interesting. African monsoon is shifting once in a 4,000 year cycle. Interesting. And believe me, you're not alone thinking these changes are coming. You should jump over to my Patreon channel and converse with others over there in the chat board. The deep dive I did into the Libor reset shows everything starts January 25th, 2021. You can check that previous video out titled January 25th, 2021, the reset begins, in the Adapt 2030 playlist as well. Thanks for watching. Hope you got something out of the video. We are definitely into shifting times. These next 4 years are going to define our society and our civilization moving forward. And don't forget, all the links to tonight's stories and images are in the description box below, as well as the link to the Adapt 2030 Patreon channel.